Oh, boy. Good morning. Welcome to the show. My name is Marc Farzy. This little program we like to call the Farzy Show. It's brought to you by the wonderful people at Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com, here from the Steven Singer Studios. Is there hope without Harper? Yes, of course there is. And I'm going to talk you up today, folks. I'm going to talk you off the ledge. Now, the Phillies did their part by taking 3 of 4 from the San Diego Padres, which was nice. But now the big measuring stick, the Atlanta Braves come to town for a 3-game series. We'll talk about that. We'll get your reactions, of course, in the chat check to losing Bryce Harper for the foreseeable future. Looking forward to him seeing a specialist so we really know how. Evan Macy from PhillyVoice.com joins the show again today to talk about all things Phillies and Bryce Harper. Spoiler, estimating September. A September return for Bryce Harper and the Phils. So we got that to jump into. Stanley Cup Finals. I haven't even mentioned much, but of course that wraps up. We got a huge brawl going on in Major League Baseball that I think finally wrapped up between the Mariners and the Angels. We'll talk about that and all things funsies here on the Farzy Show today. Here's what I'd like to start out with. Nick Castellanos. Love that you had a 4-hit game yesterday. Didn't love you trying to stretch a single into a double, but, you're not exactly fleet of foot, as I said many times, as all of us kind of know by now. He tried to stretch a single, no, he didn't need that. Anyway, 4-hit game. 6 hits in this series against the San Diego Padres. I feel like we have said this before, and I feel like we said this in the Washington Nationals series, where you heard from Kyle Schwarber talking about how much work Nick Castellanos puts into his game and his at-bats, and how guys were out there early for batting practice and taking their hacks because they want to make sure they get out of any slump. Now with Bryce Harper not in the lineup, it all comes down to whether or not the Phillies can share the workload. It's not about just one player stepping up. Nick Castellanos is the guy that needs to step up the most. Zero question about that. This is a guy who hit 34 home runs last season for the Cincinnati Reds. This year, he has 7. And if you do the math, that means he's on pace right now for 15 home runs on the season. With or without Bryce Harper, that is unacceptable. Without Bryce Harper, it's egregious. They need him to step up and get that power going again, especially if he's your 4-hole hitter. If he's hitting cleanup for you and he's not cleaning up much, he needs to get those power numbers up by a wide margin. So I'd like to see that from Nick Castellanos. JT Realmuto has started swinging the bat well, got a couple of home runs for himself, hitting the baseball pretty damn well as of late. Love what I'm seeing from him. I don't think Kyle Schwarber is going to be able to maintain this little run that he's on right now, where if you track what he's done in his career, in June, for instance, let's just look at last year, most recent example. He had 16 home runs in the month of June. This year, he's got 10. Last year, 16. This year, 10. Last year, in the month of June, he hit 280. This year, in the month of June, he's hitting 280. The guy is unbelievable. And in the leadoff spot, hey, you can put the runs on the board early, whatever. The old adage applies. If you're only really leading off once, it resets your lineup, sure, but he's only leading off once per game. So any other time you can get that at bat and get in that lineup and just show that power, like Kyle Schwarber talked about in his introductory press conference for the Phillies, where he talked about how I got to forget the fact that I'm leading off. I'm only doing it once. It's really about just getting good at bats, doing his thing. And he's been aggressive. He's swung at the first pitch of a ball game multiple times throughout the season. But now in the latter stages of these innings, in the latter stages of these games, like the 7th inning yesterday when he belted his 21st home run of the season, if you can keep that going, Kyle Schwarber, hey, I'm going to welcome it. I'm not going to expect it, but I'm going to be rooting for it. The guy that I am 1,000% zeroed in on throughout all this, because I think you're going to get contributions from Bryson Stott and Alec Boehm and Matt Vierling and Garrett Stubbs. And I think these guys are going to help you win baseball games. It's going to go around the horn as far as who's going to be the next guy to step up, just like it has been throughout the entire season. Yes, mainly it has been your reigning NL MVP, Bryce Harper. Mainly it has been your season MVP, at least this year, for the Philadelphia Phillies, Bryce Harper, doing that more than anybody this season. But they are going to spread that hero gene around if they're going to stay in contention in the NL wild card race at the very least. And as I said, it's a big measuring stick coming up with the Braves. They got the Braves, and they got the Cardinals in front of them in the wild card standings right now. The Phillies do. The Braves and then the Cardinals. The reason I have hope, to stay in the baseball world first, is because the Atlanta Braves won the World Series last year without Ronald Acuna Jr. They lost Ronald Acuna Jr. last year on July 10th. They struggled for the rest of July, going 8-10. 2 games under 500 there, okay? Sorry to mansplain, but there you go. Sometimes numbers are hard. 2 games under 500 in the 18 games they had for the rest of July. The next year, they turned on the burners, winning 18 games. They went 18-8. 18-8 in the month of August without Ronald Acuna Jr. They have different guys throughout that lineup. Dansby Swanson being one of them, the first one that jumps to mind, Austin Riley being another one. These are the guys that stepped up to help them play great baseball. They went out and they got help at the trade deadline. They went out and they got help whenever they could when it came to their minor league system as well. Jock Peterson is the first name that jumps to mind. Last year, that jumped up and stepped up big and was a big acquisition, especially in the playoffs for the Atlanta Braves. If they can lose an all-star, a rookie of the year, an all-star, an MVP candidate 2 years ago, and also 4 years ago in Atlanta, if they could lose that in Ronald Acuna, am I putting enough stank on the nya? Acuna? Yeah. If they could do that, the Phillies can stay in contention as well, especially with this lineup, especially with the guys you went out and went over the luxury tax for. If there was ever going to be a season where you've gone over the luxury tax, it's this year and stayed in contention. This would be the year to do it. You lose your number one guy. You lose Bryce Harper. Well, thank goodness we spent all this money on everybody else who we think is going to be worth this cash. Now it's a chance for them to actually go out there and prove it. And it starts with Nick Castellanos. Can he be that guy? Can he be a guy that, by the way, hit 9 home runs in the month of September last year? Can he go off on another tear like that where you feel like every time he's going to step to the plate, he's got something special waiting for you? It's time for Nick Castellanos to earn that money. It's time for him not just to earn that money, but earn the phrase, you're the one guy we would go over the tax for. And that's what the Phillies said when they made the acquisition. They were right there around the luxury tax. And when they saw Nick Castellanos and there was mutual interest, Nick Castellanos gets signed, and they say he's the one guy that's worth it. Well, let's go prove that. A 4-hit game is a pretty nice way to start that out. 2 hits already in the series for 6 total in the 4 games had. All right. But he has not hit a home run in the month of June. It's June 27th. Eh? Yeah. No bueno. No bueno. Let's hope this is just the start of things to come. Now, I said I'd stay in the baseball world for that first statement. Now I'm going to go outside the baseball world. There's a lot of people, and our guest today, Evan Macy, by the way, is one of them. Check this out. When Bryce Harper got hit, he tweeted this out. That's the season, Phillies fans. And I say, shame on you, Evan. Shame on all the Phillies people that did it and acted like this is all over. Because, folks, we're the city that watched our team win a Super Bowl, the first ever in its history. The first NFL championship was in 1960. We're the city that watched a bunch of backups, a bunch of underdogs, baby. That's right, I'm invoking underdogs. We're a city that watched that team win a Super Bowl. They lost their starting quarterback, who was an MVP candidate. They won with Nick Foles. We all know the story there. Shame on us for having any doubt in this city of magic. If any city has lost rights to doubt in recent time, it's the Philadelphia fan base. We cannot doubt. Look what the Eagles did. There were a bunch of backups. Anybody can do it. So why should I not believe in a Philadelphia Phillies team that has been over the luxury tax, has talent on this team, has young guys that really yet to show at a consistent level how well they can compete and how well they can help this team win? Why not have confidence in that? Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, they got to go to the top of the rotation. Zach Eflin battled over the weekend. Let's keep that going. Let's keep that energy going. Oh, and why not Rob Thompson as well as the perfect guy to charge with this task, to keep this going? Phillies with Bryce Harper in the time that he's been here in Philadelphia are a couple of games over 500. Without Bryce Harper, they're a couple of games under 500. But they average almost a full run less without him in the lineup since he's been here in Philadelphia. If there was ever a time to lose the MVP, it would be this season with this roster, with the money they spent. Now go earn that money and go earn the phrase, especially Nick Castellanos. You're the one person we'd go over the luxury tax for. Earn that for the rest of this season, or at least however long Bryce Harper's out. Earn that, and the Phillies will stay in contention in the National League wildcard standings. And who knows, with a little bit of luck, maybe the Mets start to fall apart a little bit. Braves lost yesterday. Phillies picked up a game, which was nice. They lost in extras to the Dodgers. But who knows? A little bit of luck. Maybe you can even see the Mets hit a sputter there. A little sputter. A Mets sputter. And then the Phillies can maybe contend for even the NL East. How about that? I'm not losing hope, folks. I'll talk to you again after this Brave series. But right now, on this Monday, on a day off, I'm not going to lose hope. Surrounding this Phillies game yesterday, though, I have that feeling with Kyle Schwarber. They get the first out again. They win 3 of 4 from the Padres. That's fantastic after dropping both games to the Texas Rangers in Texas. That was not good. But they bounced right back, and they actually went 3 of 4 from the Padres. And they did it in multiple times in dramatic fashion. No better example than yesterday where you're down in this game, you're going into the 7th inning, you're not feeling like you got something special going on. Then the next thing you know, 2 men are on, you're down 2, Kyle Schwarber's at the plate. And you're thinking, all right, it's still June. He's swinging a hot bat. He's got a home run in this series already. Why not? If he goes yard, you're up a run. Sure enough, what does he do? He goes up a run. 3-run home run for Kyle Schwarber. Absolutely tattooed a ball to opposite field for that 3-run home run. And he knew on contact that baseball was out of here. And it was. Then, miraculously, this Phillies bullpen comes in. You have a little bit of a nerve hit there by allowing 1 run. But this Phillies bullpen, which we really haven't talked about much on the show, has been unbelievable over the last couple of games. Now, they as they started a nice little streak for themselves against the Texas Rangers, 34 straight batters were retired by the Phillies bullpen. Jose Alvarado allowed a hit. He also got a big strikeout to get out of a little bit of a jam there in the 8th inning, I want to say. And then in the 9th inning, I'm totally expecting in a safe situation Sir Anthony Dominguez to come into the game. I know that he has been, what was the term Rob Thompson used after the game? Hot. Sir Anthony Dominguez had been hot for 4 days in a row, so they weren't going to use him in the 9th inning of this game. Andrew Bellotti comes out of the bullpen, takes care of business, gets the save as he returns home to San Diego, where he's from. Garrett Stubbs was in the lineup yesterday as well. He's also a San Diego guy, and the Phillies shut it down. They're able to win that ball game yesterday. I'm blown away by what the Phillies bullpen has been able to do. And the best part about it is, you haven't really seen Jaris Familia in this stretch either, which is a good move by the Philadelphia Phillies. So they get a day off today. We'll find out hopefully what's going on with Bryce Harper later on today, if not Tuesday, tomorrow. But I got my fingers crossed that it's not going to be as long as a lot of people are anticipating. A lot of people are doing the math, they're crunching the numbers, and they're figuring out that it's probably going to be until September at the earliest that we see him. But in the meantime, that's where you got to look at the other guys on this lineup. Rhys Hoskins was smoking hot there for a minute, and he has cooled off. It's going to be, as I said, hero by committee for the Phillies to make up for the loss of Bryce Harper. As much as I'd like to say Kyle Schwarber is going to be the guy that you're just going to ride for the rest of the season, hey, I love to see it. I don't think that's the way it's going to go. I don't think that's really how his career is going. I don't think that's realistic. And I don't think there's a lot of evidence to back up the idea of him all of a sudden turning into an MVP candidate as the season rolls on. The number one guy, I'm looking at Nick Castellanos, because you've looked at what he's done to this. We look at what he's done to this point with Bryce Harper, only 7 home runs, not his standard. I think he's going to get hot at some point this season where he's all of a sudden going to be looking like a guy that any swing he takes, that ball's just going to fly out of any yard. But then you're going to be looking at other guys like Hoskins, like Realmuto stepping up in this lineup. And those are the guys that I really think have the opportunity to carry a ball club when they're hot. Everybody else, the Matt Vierlings of the world, the hopefully Mickey Moniacs of the world, hopefully he can get whatever he had, whatever he was putting in his water in spring training. Please, let's see a little bit of that right now. Same thing with Odubel Herrera. Same thing with Bryson Stott. Same thing with Didi Gregorius. Let's see these guys step up for this ball club because it has got to be hero by committee for the Philadelphia Phillies with Harper out of the lineup, and I think everybody knows that. Rob Thompson, keep it going. I have to talk about this. It's so wild. And maybe I got a couple of screws loose. But did you happen to see the highlights yesterday of the Angels and the Mariners bra that was out there? It started with Mariners players in a previous series in LA against the Angels, throwing at the head of like Mike Trout and a couple other players, and that started the bad blood. So then they go to Seattle, and the Angels decide to return the favor, and they start throwing up and into different players, and it was scary. It was scary. They go to it was in California. And they're throwing at the head of Mariners players, behind the back of Mariners players. Then finally, a Mariner gets hit. And as you're watching everything unfold yesterday, you know that it's going to come to a boiling point. And I caught the highlights of this just to make sure I had my facts straight here because I didn't want to miss out on anything here. But the guy that gets hit, Jesse Winker, instead of charging the mound, decides to go after the Angels bench where interim manager Phil Nevin is standing. And he starts taunting the manager. The manager then comes out like, what? What are we talking about? What's going on? And a brawl ensues across the field. Like, it was bonkers. It was Winker then going and flipping off the fans, which he later said that was the only thing he was going to apologize for. My thing is, I understand this is baseball code about throwing at the head. You don't throw at the head, and even if it's an accident. I mean, look what happened with Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper said he knew Blake Snell his whole life pretty much. They've competed against each other since they were 10 years old. And then they're yelling at each other, whatever. And he's just like, I know, I'm just angry kind of thing. And it's like, hey, control your pitches better. I know that there is head hunting. It's tough when you're trying to discern whether or not it's on purpose or not. I don't think Snell was throwing at Bryce Harper's head for the record. I think he was trying to own the inside of the plate. And I think you can also tell from his reaction after he hit him that it wasn't on purpose. Because usually when guys are throwing inside and somebody gets hit in the head and they're trying to make a point, they just stand there like nothing happened. Kind of like what was going on in this Angels-Mariners series. But I'll never understand for the life of me why baseball players, if you choose to use weapons in any fight, like a pitcher throwing a baseball and throwing it at somebody's head, if you're a batter, I got no problem with if you take the bat out to the mound to solve that issue. I'd rather you do that than all of a sudden all these people that aren't really involved start fighting. Like, if you want to play those ground rules, all right, fine. You want to use weapons? I got a Louisville Slugger right here for you. Or whatever the hell kind of bat they use now, the special composite, whatever. That's what I think would resolve this issue. No more guys throwing at people's heads. And you wouldn't have any more mound tosses. And the way this ended was sunflower seeds going out onto the field because people just started throwing crap onto the field. It was a sight to be seen. I highly recommend checking it out for yourself because, you know, at least it was pure entertainment at that point. Pure entertainment. Let me tell you guys about the great people at Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com. I'm Mike Seibert. Hey, do what I do, folks. When it comes to learning about retirement, contact my man Mike Seibert at Destination Retirement. He's a retirement certified income professional at Destination Retirement LLC and a proud partner of 1847 Financial and an advisor for Eagles, Sixers, and Phillies fans only. And maybe next year, the Flyers with John Tortorella. When it comes to long-term savings, why are you giving up the current enjoyment of your income? The answer to that is income streams in retirement. It only makes sense to understand how retirement income streams work so that you can direct savings in ways that give you the highest income when you retire. Think of it like climbing a mountain. Is the objective just to get to the top of the mountain, or is the objective to get to the top of the mountain and then safely back down the mountain? Going up the mountain is your accumulation phase. Going down the mountain is your distribution phase. These are the two different phases of your financial life. Let Mike set up a portal for you in Retirement Analyzer, then use the software to help you navigate through the different phases of your financial life. For questions or to set up a meeting with Mike, email him at gobirds@1847financial.com. That's gobirds@1847financial.com, or call his office at 484-275-6035. That's 484-275-6035. You can also visit his website at destinationretirement.com. And as always, go Birds, and let's go Phils. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you about Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jeweler, the other corner of 8th and Walnut, right there on Jewelers Row in Philadelphia. Steven likes to say he's in the love business. And this man has been in the love business for over 40 years. For over 40 years, Philadelphia has been trusting Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers with all their big jewelry purchases, from diamond engagement rings to wedding bands to that special gift for that special someone in your life. Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers is the place you need to go. And now he's got an all-new thing here. He's been rolling it out for quite some time, as a matter of fact. The perfect price. Steven wants to show you the love by giving you the perfect price every single time. Other jewelers, they might mark things way up just to mark it down a little bit in front of you and make you feel like you won something, you haggled, you negotiated. Steven doesn't want to have to work for it. He wants you to walk in and feel like you're going to visit your favorite family member. You can relax, you can feel comfortable, you can put your feet up, you can look at all the beautiful dazzling diamond inventory at Steven Singer Jewelers. So do what I do, folks. When it comes to your jewelry purchases, trust my man, Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. One place, one price, the perfect price every day, and always fast and free shipping at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. To give us a little bit more of a different perspective here when it comes to the Philadelphia Phillies, we invited back on the show for the first time in a while, Evan Macy of PhillyVoice.com, to break down all things Phillies when it comes to Bryce Harper and the post-Bryce Harper era, maybe at least for this season in Philadelphia. Evan Macy joins us on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line. Joining us right now, the Rothman Orthopedics guest line from PhillyVoice.com, Phillies writer extraordinaire, Evan Macy rejoins the program. What's up, Evan? How you doing, man?
Good, man. My daughter's first birthday was this weekend, so luckily I was able to be a little bit less checked in with the Phillies, enjoy her eating a cake and then having to go immediately into the bath. It was fantastic. It was a fun time.
Oh, that's fatherhood at its best right there, my friend. That's fatherhood at its best. If you guys aren't following Evan, make sure you do so on Twitter at Evan_Macy. Right there, you can see it. And I'm going to go ahead and assume this tweet was well after your daughter had doused herself in cake. No?
Yeah, what goes up must go down, I guess. I was feeling really, really good. Her party was on Saturday. It was fantastic. First birthdays, I guess, are for the parents. I mean, she had no idea what was going on, but a really nice group of people, really, really fun afternoon. Got cozy in bed, put the Phillies game on, and yeah, that was devastating. I couldn't. What are the odds of seeing that happen? I don't know. It's just crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. For the people on the podcast, I just put up a tweet of Evan saying that's the season, Phillies fans, meaning when Bryce Harper got hit. Do you have an update? Do you know the latest on what's going down with him? Are we really going to be expecting him to be missing the vast majority of the season, or do we still have to wait for him to see that specialist?
I mean, we'll find out something when he's in Philadelphia. The average time of recovery from an injury like this, from what I've seen, and I did a little bit of research, is 10 to 12 weeks. Doing a little bit of math in my head, I think that brings us to around the end of September. I guess, the best case scenario might be that he's able to play a little bit, the last week of the season. And then if they make the playoffs, he's in the playoffs. That would be the best thing that you could hope for. I guess maybe they'll look at that elbow injury too, now that they're, if he ends up getting surgery. I don't know. A lot is up in the air. Bryce Harper is just an incredible athlete who's been already playing injured. And I even, we root for the Phillies. We like to have stuff to talk about in this city, but your heart goes out to him because he just has battled so much and he doesn't really deserve to have this setback. So it's really tough.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's probably the most Philly quote ever to say, I'd rather have gotten hit in the face than the thumb. And I love the fact that he said that after the game, but in his absence, Evan Macy. Who's going to be the guy that steps up? Is Realmuto going to get it clicking? He's been hitting well lately. Had the day off. Stubbs got the start. Nick Castellanos had 6 hits in this series. Still hasn't hit a home run in the month of June. Who's the guy that's going to step up for this baseball team while Bryce Harper's out?
I have to tell you, the Phillies really, like that Godfather quote, once I think I'm out, they pull me back in. Before the Girardi firing, it really seemed like a lost season. And then they fired off all those wins, 9 in a row, and then they won a bunch more. And then, last night after that injury, it really did. I mean, they didn't score at all. It just felt like it's a lost cause. The MVP is hurt. He was everything. He's who they needed to make a push for the playoffs. And then everybody today, they pulled us back in. You want to see Castellanos step up. He did. He had 4 hits. Schwarber has been red hot, at least as red hot as a Schwarber type can be, hitting home runs and walking, which is what you want to see from him. He's been fantastic. Really, they have enough talent to fill in the blanks. Rhys Hoskins, JT Realmuto, as you mentioned, is somebody who really needs to step it up. This would be a good time for that. There's a lot of, household names that could do this. If everybody plays 10% better for the rest of the season, maybe they'll make up the difference. They can do it. I was reminded today, so who knows?
I like that. Yeah, I always like the moments just when you thought it was out, you pull me back in. I could totally get what you're saying. As far as this bullpen goes for this team, been doing pretty well as of late. A great streak they had going for themselves and all that. Is Sir Anthony Dominguez the closer, or are we still going to be doing the closer by committee type thing? I know you had who'd you have there? You had a Bilotti in there in the 9th today in a save situation, or yesterday, I should say. But going forward, do you think Sir Anthony Dominguez is the closest thing they have to a closer on this team?
I absolutely do. I mean, you're hearing the same things Girardi said. I don't know if you saw post game, but Thompson pretty much said the reason that he went with him is because Dominguez and Hand, had pitched a bunch, or they were warming up in the bullpen and he wanted to save them. I guess that's just, going to be par for the course. To see Bilotti succeeding in this situation is a good thing. You want to get some of these inexperienced guys experienced pitching in clutch spots. So, that's nice to see him succeed there. The bullpen is really going to have to pull it together. But honestly, it's going to come down to the offense. The starting pitching is good. The bullpen is going to be okay. They're going to have terrible nights. You can't expect them to be the best bullpen in baseball. But, I mean, to me, really for this team, the best defense is a good offense, I guess you can say. And they're going to have to score 4 or 5 runs a game down the stretch to have any chance to make the playoffs. But the bullpen was good today. And I would like to see this team in a spot where they can, at the deadline, actually make a play for a real closer or a back of the end bullpen piece. That would probably be the best thing they could do at the deadline. Get 2 of them, maybe. Yeah.
Anything where I don't have to see Jarius Familia, anything that I don't have to see him, I'm 1,000% for. When it comes to this series coming up now with the Atlanta Braves, as big a measuring stick as one would assume.
They beat the Padres 3 out of 4 on the road in the midst of Bryce Harper's hand being broken. So, I mean, yeah, I want to agree with you. It's in the division. They're chasing the Braves in the wild card. So it's more important that they're chasing them in the wild card than in the division, because the Mets are so far ahead that doesn't really even matter. But yeah, these contending teams, I was really, encouraged by how they played on this road trip, overcoming a lot of adversity and bouncing back and avoiding those losing streaks and finding a way to have someone be a hero who's not Bryce Harper. But they do have a tough stretch. They have the Cardinals after that. The Cardinals are another team they're chasing in the wild card, or they're also in the mix in the NL Central, but either way. And then I guess the Nationals stink, so that's nice to have them afterwards. But the homestand's big. Let's see a winning record on this homestand. They don't have to sweep every game or take 3 out of 4, but go 5-4 here, and maybe we'll be staying above water, and this team will still be floating for a playoff spot.
I don't want to harp on this Nick Castellanos thing too much, but I need to go back to it. 7 home runs so far this year. That's obviously he's projected to do. It's at 15. Projected to hit 15 home runs this season. That's less than half the amount of home runs he hit last year as a member of the Cincinnati Reds. I know he might look like he's finally coming out of it. Like I mentioned, the 6 hits, the 4 hits he had on Sunday's game. Is there anything you're hearing from the ball club about things that he needs to be doing differently, or things that might be in his head, or anything that would at least give us a little bit of a hint as to why his power numbers particularly are struggling so much this year?
Realmuto's power numbers are down too. I don't know what it is. It's really weird. It's tough to have everybody in a lineup all having their maximum amount of power. I'm not exactly sure what it is. It's always mental when it comes to baseball. If we've seen you show the ability to do it, then you can physically do it. It doesn't. I mean, I'm not an expert. I'm not a hitting coach. There's a reason for those things. So I don't particularly see anything with his swing or his approach that's anything different. I think it's just a natural. When you're not hitting home runs, you press. You try new things. You put pressure on yourself. He's in a new environment. Maybe it's tough to see Schwarber hitting bomb after bomb and Bryce Harper playing like an MVP. And, maybe the silver lining is that he gets the opportunity to be kind of that alpha starting outfielder here. He's going to be relied on a little bit more without Harper, and we'll see. But I'm not sure that's really key. If you had to pick one offensive player for whom the Harper injury was the most important for, I might go with Castellanos, just because he's the horse who should be able to fill in the power gap, I would think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember I was doing a guest spot on another show on CBS 3, as a matter of fact, and they had asked me about who's the guy that you need to see something from the second half of the season. Then I said it was Nick Castellanos. Now I scream that it's Nick Castellanos, because you haven't really gotten much from him to this point. And now you look at Schwarber, like you said, he's hitting bombs, hit another one on Sunday that put him in front for good pretty much. And then you see other guys start to really come through in this lineup as well, like Realmuto that you mentioned. Nick Castellanos, if it's a mental thing, then something needs to get right. And hopefully this is him now crawling his way out of that awful slump that he's been in. I will say this, in doing just a little bit of research, one of his best months of the season, maybe his best or second best, was September. So maybe if the Phillies are in it, if they're still doing if they have another slump and then they pull you back in September, maybe he'll be a big reason for that right before you get Bryce Harper back. He had 9 home runs last year in the month of September, so fingers crossed for him later in the season.
Isn't it odd how that's like a thing? Schwarber is better in June, apparently. And I think there's a stat about Hoskins. Maybe it's May. I don't know. There's a month where Hoskins is better. It's weird. It shouldn't make a difference, but it does. Baseball is like just such one of those sports where people just have all of those crazy, the word escapes me, but I'm thinking of the movie Major League, where everybody has all these little things they do.
Yes, you got a bucket of chicken and Joe Boo. That's what you got, basically.
Yeah. So I don't know what it is. Everybody's got their month.
When it comes to this baseball team, you mentioned moving on from Girardi and how bad it looked before that. What is the difference in this team since then? Because it looks like a totally different baseball team. Is it all the schedule, or is it some kind of cloud lifted off this clubhouse? What do you think it is?
It's got to be a combination of both. The schedule definitely helped. They definitely were in a really, really rough stretch of schedule. I don't remember what it was. I wrote about it a lot, where they had one of the 4 or 5 toughest schedules in baseball. And then after they fired Girardi, they had like the 29th toughest schedule for the rest of the way. So the timing definitely played a role. But, I mean, you heard all the quotes about the young guys. He wasn't really giving them an opportunity. You look at the numbers from the young guys, and they're not great. I mean, Stott and Vierling aren't hitting for great average, but you think mentally, like, what are the most memorable hits of the season? And they're from Stott and they're from Vierling, and they're after this managerial change was made. So there's something to them having confidence and having the chance to play. And they're going to be relied on more now, because that DH spot is going to open up, and it's actually going to give the Phillies a lot more versatility when they're making their lineup, because they're going to be able to put more defensive players in the field and be able to move, like an Alec Boehm to the DH spot. Maybe you put JT Realmuto there, and that way you can double up at catcher, because you have another catcher who's hitting pretty well this season. So a silver lining is you're going to be able to see a little bit more opportunity for a lot of other guys with the DH spot opening up now.
Hey, that Braves team last year, they lost Ronald Acuna Jr., and next thing you know, they win the World Series. So that's what I'm just going to be. I'll be harping on that for the next couple of months. That's what I'll be doing. How about this? Mickey Moniak gets recalled. Are we expecting anything from him down the line here? Vierling obviously had the misplay in center field in this series against the Padres, but he's been hitting better as of late. He's been hitting well overall, Mr. Carshield himself. Odubel Herrera has definitely had his struggles, had a nice bunt single on Sunday. What are we expecting maybe from another corner or even center field spot in Mickey Moniak?
He's going to get an opportunity. He's going to get a chance. I mean, we've seen from Rob Thompson, he's going to let the young guys get a chance. And there's a huge hole in the outfield now because you're going to have probably one of those outfielders in Schwarber or Castellanos at the DH spot most nights. So you're going to need another defensive guy in the outfield. It's going to have to be one of those guys. Moniak really hasn't shown much since his spring training injury. I don't know how many times I've said, like, it's do or die for Moniak, and then he keeps having another opportunity. But honestly, I don't know how many more he's going to have. He might end up being, in the vein of the last trade deadline, where they ended up trading away Spencer Howard, who was not far behind. He was not long from. I'm misspeaking. He was very close to previously to the trade deadline, their top pitching prospect. There we go. And he was dealt at the deadline, and they brought in Kyle Gibson, who's been okay. He's been an average starter. He's been pretty reliable. I wonder if Moniak, maybe this is an audition for them to use him as a trade piece. Maybe he could benefit from a change of scenery. That's kind of a storyline to have in the back of your head as you're watching this, although it would be nice if he sees the starting role. But maybe they can deal for an outfielder and he can be a centerpiece of that kind of a package to bring somebody in.
I'll keep my fingers crossed. I'll put it this way. I find Mickey Moniak to be an easy guy to root for. I know there's been a lot of struggles there, but I'm really hoping he pulls it out. And I hope that this is the opportunity that he's been waiting for to really get a moment so that he can kind of siege right now as a member of this big league ball club. Evan Macy. Go ahead.
Not to interrupt you, but I shouldn't even be mentioning this, but his dad got mad at me for calling him a bust in an article I wrote. He sent me an email. He's kind of polite, but he was like vowing that his son would make me eat my words. I don't know if he does that to all the Phillies writer. There's no way I'm the only person who called him a bust. I'm rooting for him just like everybody else.
Right.
So, I just have to say on the record, and if his dad's watching, like, I hope your son comes through. And, if not, like I said, maybe he needs a change of scenery. But yeah, Moniak is going to he's going to be an important player down the stretch here either way.
Wow. I grew up when I was a kid with the Lindros era and the whole thing. And then obviously I was a little older for the whole Wilma McNabb, Sam McNabb stuff. Like, when parents get involved, bruh, It's a good time. It's a good time. But I hope Mickey Moniak is swinging for the fences, and I hope he does well when he comes up, just as you are. Hey, a lot of times we root to be wrong. To be wrong, right? Absolutely. All right, steer clear of the next Moniak family reunion. But until then, Evan Macy, PhillyVoice.com, Phillies writer extraordinaire. Make sure you guys are following Evan, of course, on Twitter, as well as other social media outlets. Evan, always great catching up with you, man. Thanks so much.
Yep, sounds great, Mark. Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you. Evan Macy joining us on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line, and happy birthday to the little one, my friend.
Thank you so much.
Evan Macy. My thanks to Evan Macy for joining the show. How about that? Mr. Moniak Sr., I guess? Like, you got to know as a parent that never looks good. There's no win there. Even if it's a respectful disagreement, it still makes it look like you're fighting your kid's battle. And that's never a good thing. Like, not for nothing. There's been things in my career where my mom has called me and she said, "Oh, so I saw this. There's a thing written about you." And then I'm like, "Oh yeah." And she goes, "And then there was this thing below it called the comment section." I'm like, "No, Mom, stay away." And she's like, "Oh, okay, I won't read that again." And I'm like, "Yeah, please don't." But like, you got to know as a parent, there's no win to be had if you're defending your child to a writer, to a fan, to another fan, even. Like, I can understand maybe if you're sitting next to a fan at a game, and I'll just use Mr. Nola as an example, Aaron Nola's father, who wears the Phillies jersey and the Padres t-shirt underneath the jersey, because he's got two sons playing, obviously, for different teams. And I can understand if you're sitting in the stands and there's a fan being obnoxious and saying horrible things, and be like, "Hey man, just so you know, we're his family. I mean, enjoy the game, but I'm just letting you know we don't need to hear that." That would probably be an understanding. That's fine. But like, if you're going to reach out to a writer and say, could you be nicer to my kid? Like, not so much. Not so much. If you want to just combat it maybe with, hey, just read the article and everyone's entitled to their opinion. Look, I didn't read the article and Evan said it was fine, but he's just pretty sure that Mr. Moniak hates him. But I'm still pulling for Mickey Moniak, and Evan's still pulling for Mickey Moniak. Look, folks, Matt Vierling's misplay on Saturday, that was bad. That was an Odubel Herrera type mistake. That was pretty terrible. I still think he is playing at a better level than Odubel Herrera. And I'd like to see Mickey Moniak join Matt Vierling in that category of playing better than Odubel Herrera. Because every time I watch Odubel Herrera, I just wait for that mistake. That's what Odubel Herrera has trained me to think, to wait for a mistake. It's not that high a bar right now for the Philadelphia Phillies to have somebody else competing for an outfield spot. Like Mickey Moniak should be competing for an outfield spot. Like, hopefully he'll get the opportunity to compete for an outfield spot on this team. But as of right now, watching this ball club, you're watching a guy like Herrera, for instance, and you're seeing him hit 236. You should be able to do better than 236. You certainly should be able to do better than a 274 on-base percentage. And a guy like Matt Vierling, he's only hitting 239, but I could take that from an up-and-coming type of talent. Not a guy that's already well-established with a huge track record like we have from Odubel Herrera. Vierling, by the way, 297 on base percentage with a couple of home runs for himself as well. Mr. Carshield himself. By the way, I want to throw this out before I get to the chat check because I want to know if I'm crazy or not. I know I am, but I recently had a game changer situation at the house. We're very blessed in our home in Philadelphia to live in a row home in Philly, and we have a backyard, which is uncommon in Philadelphia. We have a nice backyard, and I not like a little 10 by 10 patch of concrete. I mean, like a yard. It's nice, and my daughter loves it and all that stuff. It's great. But we have a nice patio area, and that I did no work for, by the way. The patio area. We bought the house and it was on there. It was great. But I recently did the game-changing thing of putting a TV outside. I mounted a TV outside on the back patio. So literally my weekend was my daughter playing in her pool, one of them big fancy inflatable pools from Target that was like $40. She's playing around, having a great time, and I'm watching the Phillies. Like yesterday is really what happened because obviously they're playing late games all the rest of the weekend other than that. But anyway, I'm watching the game outside, and I'm enjoying life. I'm enjoying the sweetness of all of this. And the whole time I'm watching the game, I can't kick this one thing. Outside, I have to stream the games because I'm not setting up a cable all the way through the house and like going to the backyard stuff. So I don't know if you're getting the same commercials that I'm getting on the stream on the NBC Sports app on my smart TV, right? In Philly on cable, Matt Vierling is the CarShield spokesman. On the app for NBC Sports, the CarShield salesman, pitchman, is Walker Buehler. One of the best pitchers in baseball. And then locally, I guess, it's Matt Vierling. Seems like a bit of a drop-off. And all due respect to Matt Vierling. Are you guys getting those commercials too on cable? Or is it just me on the stream? Do they use the more general national ad for the stream? Because, I mean, if I'm CarShield, that would be what I want, right? But I'm like, is this right? I don't remember seeing Walker Buehler on cable. Maybe it's just a stream. So tell me, please, if you're watching the game on cable, let me know if you're getting Walker Buehler in your CarShield ads. Just let me know that. Hey, speaking of commercials, how about Rothman Orthopedics? When you have an orthopedic issue, you need a physician who eats, sleeps, and breathes orthopedics. You need an exceptionally specialized Rothman Orthopedics physician. They not only specialize in orthopedics, but each of their physicians only focuses in on one area of the body, which means you can have the confidence to get past the pain and be what you were. Visit them in one of their 30-plus locations in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, including 4 orthopedic-only urgent cares. Learn more at RothmanOrtho.com. That's RothmanOrtho.com. How about the Versus Game app? If you haven't seen it, Here's the logo. Go to the App Store or Google Play Store right now and download the Versus Game app and have yourself a grand old time. The question right now, I've hit on this a number of times already. Will Nick Castellanos hit a home run in the month of June? Yes or no? Actually, I have it yes or nope, because I don't think he will. He's got 3 more games to do it. All 3 are against the Atlanta Braves. Please, Nick Castellanos, hit a home run. Please, hit a home run against the Braves. Why don't you just hit a home run? No home runs in June. 3 more games to do it. Will he do it? That's the question right now on the Versus Game app. Answer yes or no. It's always binary. It's always this or that. That's how we do it. Download the Versus Game app to your phone right now. Have yourself a good time and follow at Farzy Show. How about FreestoneFarmCBD.com? Check out FreestoneFarmCBD.com right now on their new menu. The new strain menu is absolutely insane. It's absolutely fantastic. Like their tropical tasting Bayox that clocks into chart-topping 24.1%, and Super CBD, which is half Hindu, Kush, and 21%. The genetics of these guys, man, they're incredible. They also grow all their premium hemp flower in the Garden State with all organic inputs and IPM. There's absolutely nothing synthetic from farm to jar. And after harvest, they carefully preserve all the plant compounds with the perfect 3-month cure. You like CBD? You like this CBD? How would you like 20% off this CBD? Use promo code Farzy upon checkout at FreestoneFarmCBD.com. That's promo code Farzy for 20% off your CBD products from Freestone Farm CBD. That's FreestoneFarmCBD.com. How about PHL Sports Station, Philadelphia Sports Station, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsStation.com. Let's jump into the chat check. Tyvita, you're leading off today. This is what I'm going to say. Tyvita offered on social media, she tweeted me over the weekend, she said, I will donate my hand to Bryce Harper. It doesn't match. Tyvita's words, not mine. It doesn't match, but I'll donate my hand. And Tyvita just reminded me of that in the chat. Tyvita, God bless you. You're a true fan. Good morning to you. Good morning, April. Good morning, Kevin. Good morning, Mickey Diaz. What's up, buddy? Mally, hello. Kevin, April, Mally again. Sean, what's up, Sean Gillespie? April, did anyone watch the end of the Dodgers-Braves last night? Good stuff. Yeah, anytime the Braves can lose and walk off, or not walk off, but anytime the Braves lose in extra innings, I'm all for it. As crazy as it sounds, this is Mickey Diaz. I think the Phillies will do fine without Harper. Could taking 3 of 4 from the Padres be the start of what may turn out to be a pretty epic season for the Phillies? Maybe. Mickey, I'm gonna read this a little different. I'm gonna try this again. Here we go. Take 2. By the way, I'm sorry for the nudity on the show today. This shirt is just out of control. There you go, folks. Sorry. I got you again with the plunging neckline. Jeez, these shirts have a mind of their own. Mickey Diaz, here we go. As crazy as it sounds, I think the Phillies will do fine without Harper. Could taking 3 of 4 from the Phillies and Padres series be the start of... God, take 3. Could taking 3 of 4 from the Padres be the start of what may turn out to be a pretty epic season for the Phillies? Maybe. There we go. Mickey Diaz, good morning, Farzy Show. Good morning, Marc. Good morning, Mickey. PJ chiming in. I don't think people paid enough attention to how good Castellanos has been since he left Detroit. He can get hot. He can carry a lineup. I agree, PJ. I 1,000% agree. Thompson is not the Titanic captain. He can't. Sean Gillespie. Thompson is not the Titanic captain. He can keep the Phillies motivated. Fingers crossed. Mally, I knew it when I put this shirt on today. I go, Mally's going to say something. Actually, yesterday when I taped the interview with Evan. Mally, you can tell the Harper injury got to Marc. It really hurt him. You can see the color of his shirt today. My gray shirt is a sign of mourning. I usually reserve it for days after or following events that are tough to watch. Mickey Diaz, Thompson is as straight-edged as it gets. His demeanor never changes. He's the right man for the job. It certainly seems like that. Although I will say, Mickey, That was one of my problems with Joe Girardi. Like, that whole even keel thing is great, but there are moments as a manager or as a coach where you got to start pushing buttons, and at least let us know as a fan base that if things are really starting to hit the fan, you're noticing it too, and it's not okay. Like, there's a healthy balance there somewhere that I think good managers know where it's at. April, I think the team will rally together and keep winning, keep the winning going, honestly. It will come down to pitching more than hitting. April, that's a good point. The bullpen looks like they've been doing a better job as of late, 34 in a row, as I pointed out earlier in the show, that they retired before that Eric Hosmer double yesterday. So there you go. But yeah, I still think when you look at this lineup, a lot of guys have underperformed. Nick Castellanos is the guy on the top of that list. There's one more name I wanted to look up here. JT Realmuto. Let's see here. 2 home runs over his last week, only 3 strikeouts. Not bad. Yeah, still like to see him turn it on a little bit more than what he has done. I was looking at his June splits yesterday, and they didn't jump out as much as you'd like them to. 218 in the month of June with a 295 on base percentage. Over the last 7 days, hitting just 211, but does have those 7 dingers. So hopefully that works itself out. Mally, Hoskins cooled off. Shocking. Trade him ASAP. Yeah, Hoskins ain't a lot to brag about right now, as a matter of fact. Tyvita, good morning. I'm still looking to donate my hand. God bless you, Tyvita. Sean Gillespie, morning. Harper only needs a thumb, so mail it to the Phillies. Kyle, bring back Dom Brown. I'm not kidding you. We have been trying to get Dominic Brown on this show. He's now like coaching. So, and he's been great with the Phillies. I think it was an opening day, shaking hands, kissing babies. Bobby Boucher. Mama said, come back to the chat. Welcome back, Bobby. Darian, good morning to you. Jim Grasmeter, what's up, buddy? Bobby Boucher, I've been committed to the podcast the last few weeks, but missed my Farzy chat family. Bobby, we missed you right back, babe. What? I do too. I put concentrate down. Wait, what's going on here? April, yes, please keep your sweet mom away from the comment section. Yeah, that's no place for a mother. Oh, man. April, they use national ads on the streams, and then if it is specific local commercial, there is normally a placeholder screen. Interesting. Thank you, April. Mickey Diaz, I think the commercial is exclusive to NBC Sports Philadelphia. It's very true. It might be. Tyvita, Maxie did it better. That's great. Mickey Diaz, right on, Tyvita. David, what's up, David? How are you? Welcome aboard. Do I want him to? Yes. Will he hit a homer? No. There you go, David. I think you're talking about Castellanos. Mickey Diaz, laugh out loud, Mark. You ought to be cast for more voice acting. Thank you, Mickey. Time for JT to step up for Bryce. It's the least he could do since Bryce got him paid. That's a great point, Jim. Tyvita, the catchers and the pitchers have to work together. It doesn't matter how good someone pitches if everyone drops the ball. It's a fine point, Tyvita. It's a fine point. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Appreciate you guys. You guys are fantastic. Let's move into our morning rush, brought to you by Sky Motorcars and SkyMotorcars.com. The Phillies have an off day today. Much needed day off. They start a 3-game series with the Atlanta Braves tomorrow. We'll see how that shapes up for the Phillies, I should say. Hopefully Kyle Schwarber stays hot. Charlie Morton is set to get the start against Zach Wheeler in South Philadelphia. Morton 4-3 on the season with a 4.84 ERA. He's given up 11 homers this season. Zach Wheeler's given up just 3. He's 6-4 on the year with a 2.77 ERA. Last night, Stanley Cup Finals. I don't want to hate on the Tampa Bay Lightning, but it does bother me that they've won 3 Stanley Cups since their inception. 3 Stanley Cups since 2004, which hurts my heart to say out loud as a fact. And they were denied a 4th last night with the Colorado Avalanche eliminating the Tampa Bay Lightning and winning that series 4-2. It was a bit of a chippy game there at times, but I hate the fact that I hate the Tampa Bay Lightning. And it has everything to do with John Tortorella. Well, it has most to do with John Tortorella's 2004 team that beat that Keith Primo team that was seemed like a team of destiny. I remember they moved Sammy Kapanen from wing to defender. If he played in defense, he was a defenseman in that. And in the playoffs, as a matter of fact, they had to make that trade during the season. I want to say, was it Danny Markov they brought in? I think it was Danny Markov they brought in the Justin Williams trade early in that season. I want to say it was that. It was some Russian defenseman they brought in. And at the time, it was like you had to do it because you were moving defensemen around or wings around to be defensemen. It seemed like a team of destiny. Keith Primo was on fire in that playoff run, making the Eastern Conference Finals. And then they lose to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Ken Hitchcock's Flyers lose to the Tampa Bay Lightning, and that sucked. And then the Tampa Bay Lightning go on. They win that series against the Calgary Flames, if memory serves me correctly. And they win their first Stanley Cup. Then they win another 2 recently with the Steven Stamkos-led team. And the Flyers are just still here trying to figure it the hell out. And I'll turn to our friend Mike Sealski, who tweeted out yesterday, Colorado Avalanche have won 3 Stanley Cups. That's now, I think he said 6 teams that have won at least 3 Stanley Cups. Since the Flyers' inception. That's great. Flyers come into the league. Teams that come in later as an expansion team have won more Stanley Cups than the Flyers. A whole slew of them. That ain't cool, folks. That ain't cool. And since that just jumped in my head, I want to make sure that I have this right for you because it's going to bother me for the rest of the day if I didn't get it right. And then I got to watch a clip later going, it wasn't that. And then I go, okay, well, I'm an idiot. What do you want from me? I'm sorry. The Avs are the 5th franchise to enter the NHL after the Flyers to win more Stanley Cups than the Flyers. Cool! Thank you, Mike Sealski, everyone's favorite. So, here's to a healthy offseason for the Flyers, and hopefully John Tortorella is the guy to get the best out of whatever players are on this roster when the season starts. Let's cross our fingers for that. Folks, if you enjoyed the show today, if you enjoyed me, okay, bonus me today, for the local markets at least. I'll be on Fox 29 with the great Fox Good Day people. Mike Jarrett's off today, though. Unfortunately, Mike Jarrett is off today, to say that a little slower. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Enjoy this day out for the Phillies. Hopefully a nice little run continues starting Tuesday against the Braves. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is the Farzy Show presented by Destination Retirement, DestinationRetirement.com. And, of course, we do the show from the Steven Singer Studios. My thanks to Jim Hyde, who produced the program, did a phenomenal job. This is a Buzz Sports Entertainment production. Have a great day, everybody. See you tomorrow. Bye.